Hello guys, MonkeyBot here, and today we're going to be talking about the next faction in the upcoming Thrones of Decay DLC. So we're going to be talking about the Empire today and how it's going to play out in the campaign, what the gameplay mechanics are, who the Legendary Lord is going to be, the starting location for the Legendary Lord, and some Empire reworks which could potentially be added into the main Empire faction. If you thought that my Tamacon prediction video was a little bit ambitious, get strapped in because this is going to be even more out of the water here. But to be honest, the more the merrier. Probably setting myself up for disappointment here, but this is what I want. This is what I hope for, and let's see if CA can deliver. So I'm going to jump straight into who I think the Legendary Lord is going to be. If it's going to be Tamacon, there's literally no doubt in my mind that it's going to be Elspeth von Draken, the Elector Count of Wisseland's advisor. So Elspeth is an extremely powerful magic user using the Law of Death, and she rides upon a dragon. So she's going to be an extremely powerful Legendary Lord to add to the Empire roster. In fact, probably one of the most powerful Legendary Lords that the Empire has seen so far, as the most powerful Legendary Lords tend to be magic users that ride upon a monstrous beast. So having that for the Empire, I think, is a very good start. Now, let's start talking about her start location. Now, I'm going to start with the most obvious start location for her. The most obvious place will be Nuln, where she obviously lives. She is the advisor of the Elector Count of Nuln, so it makes it quite an obvious start location for her. I do think it's a bit of a boring start location though. She has got Gelt right down here and Karl Franz up here, and it just seems a little bit squashed now with the Empire Legendary Lords, and she's not really got anywhere to go. She could obviously go down here and take on the mountains, but other than that, you're pushing into other Elector Counts. You'll probably end up going to war with Vlad, which is basically just another Gelt campaign at this point. So I do think she needs a dual start location, but I do think this should be an option for her. And the second start location I think that she's going to be given will actually be Saber Mountain, the north part of the Mountains of Morn. I think this would be a very good start location for her. Extremely challenging start location for her. You're going to be starting off with a lot of enemies around you. You're going to be starting off with the Chaos Dwarves. You've got Grimgor. You've also got Korelek. But the idea to start here is the fact that the idea is, let's say some scouts have found out about Tamacon's plan to go down the Mountains of Morn and attack Nuln from the south, and you have been sent up here to stop him before he reaches Nuln in the first place, with Tamacon's start location being up here. So it's a good start location. There's going to be, yes, a lot of enemies around you, but I think it would fit very well into the gameplay mechanics that I have in mind for her, which I'll get onto later in the video. And I also think that you'll be given a nice ally down here, as, spoiler alert for the Dwarf campaign, I believe the Dwarf Legendary Lord will start here in Carrick as Zorn, giving you a nice ally to work with to conquer the Mountains of Morn and then fight back against Tamacon. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be an extremely challenging start location. I think it'll be very similar to something like Malice Darkblade, where you take your first territory. You can choose to sell Norn, or you can choose to keep Norn, or you can teleport back to Norn, or you can do whatever you want. Those sort of like split start location campaigns, you know how it works by now. So you can choose either one. So let's start moving on to the campaign mechanics that I think will go alongside with her. Now, I think her campaign is going to be very interesting. I think she's going to be a combination of lots of different Legendary Lords. I think she's going to have a combination of Altharion the Grim and the Defense of Tor Ivorous. I think she's going to have an Oxyodal sort of style campaign where she has to go out and do certain objectives to help prevent the war against Chaos. And she's also going to have a similar-ish kind of thing to the Caravan mechanic, although not quite the same. But I will get into that later on into the video. But first of all, we'll talk about the Tor Ivorous side. It's very obvious. I think it's going to be a given. She's going to start preparing herself ready for the invasion of Tamacon against Nuln. Very similar to how Altharion the Grim is going to be protecting Tor Ivorous against Grom the Paunch. So she's probably going to have a unique building in here that she has to build up, and building up this building will give her unique benefits, bonuses, maybe some magical battle-wide abilities, and some traps, and maybe additional units. I do also think, because there is a very famous quote from the Electra Count of Wissenland, where she says, "War are waged by warriors, but won with gold." And she is very well known to spend all of our money to get as many troops, as many powerful troops as possible in every war she is in. So I do think there should be a little tab, maybe up here or down here or wherever it would be, where you can hire additional troops to help defend. Maybe recruit some mercenaries, for example. Maybe you can recruit some dwarf mercenaries, some ogre mercenaries, and these are one-time purchases that will give you global bonuses for the rest of your campaign, as well as giving you additional units for your defense against null, probably controlled by the AI, giving you some sort of allied reinforcements for that final battle that will inevitably come. So the second part of Elspeth's campaign will actually be about slowing Tamacon down and reducing the amount of units that he can bring into the final fight against Nuln. I think it will look very similar to the caravan mechanic up here, where you will send out a caravan hopping from journey to journey, location to location, and you will eventually reach your destination. But except it's not you sending out the caravans, but it's you seeing Tamacon's journey throughout the campaign map. So he will start off up here, he will travel down through the mountains of Morn. There will be key points where he will cross at certain points. So let's say a key moment will be here. He will always go through this location here, and he will cross the Badlands over into here, down south, and then finally pushing north into Nuln. And I think this should be a very good indicator to show you how long it's going to be until he finally reaches his destination. I think with Altharion's campaign, it's very boring. It's just, I can't remember the exact terms it is, but let's say you will get attacked by Grom in 50 turns and you have to build your defenses, and there's no way to slow him down. Well, in this, there is. And it's about following his journey and creating blockages for him to have to divert his journey to other locations. So let's say this is a fixed pathway here. You cannot stop him. But once he reaches the Mountains of Morn, he will get to this location here. So you will see that location and you will be given a choice. Let's say he will go this way and he will go straight into the Darklands and start crossing his way down here, creating his journey much, much shorter. But instead, there will be a mission here, and it will be to, let's say, it's to help the dwarfs, and the dwarfs have a blunderbarge that will be able to knock down the wall here to prevent Tamacon from progressing down this path. So you fight a quest battle, for example, you help the dwarves win that battle, and then they will help you out in return. If you do not complete this mission, Tamacon will go through this path, his journey time will be the exact same, and he may recruit some ogre units into the army, giving him some stronger units for the final fight on Nuln. But if you decide to do this quest battle, he will obviously have to go down the right hand side here, going up to Gorge Rock, and then that will give you another choice to go left, where there will be another mission, or go right. And then you will keep pushing him to the right, giving his journey a much longer time to finally reach Nuln. Or if you don't do anything, he will get to Nuln within 20-30 turns, and it will have an extremely powerful army going alongside that. So you really do need to slow him down and stop him recruiting these really powerful units. These units could vary. Obviously, Ogre Kingdoms would be very great in the Mountains of Morn. Maybe there'll be some Dragon Ogres around here that he will eventually recruit. He will probably recruit some Chaos Dwarfs in the Darklands. Maybe some Skaven over here that will help him out. And then finally going all the way up to Nuln. And you can prevent this from happening. Maybe you can even prevent him from getting his stronger forms. Just weakening him as much as possible and giving yourself more time to actually prepare your defenses. And I think these missions could pop up randomly. I think these could be very different and make every campaign very unique, very similar to Oxyodal campaign. Obviously, there are missions that will pop up. There is like a big pool of missions, and these missions will pop up randomly, like you would see in the Oxyodal campaign. I don't think you should be able to teleport to these missions, Or maybe you could teleport to them. I don't know. Maybe you should be able to do it to balance it out a little bit. But having this start location here would be very good for her just to go in and grab these missions, blocking this pathway. I think it will be very fun with Elspeth following the journey of Tamacon, always staying slightly ahead of him and just slowing him down as he progresses his journey. Yeah, so I think that's kind of it for Elspeth's unique mechanics, and I think there are a few little tweaks that could be happened within the Empire itself. So let's get straight into it. I do think Elspeth should be part of the Elect account system. Even though she's technically not an Elect account, I'd like to also point out that Gelt is also technically not an Elect account. I think for gameplay's point of view, I think Elspeth would fit very nicely into the Elect account system. I do think the Elect account system as a whole needs a little bit of a change. I really don't think it's as bad as people are making out to be. I have played multiple Empire campaigns, and early game, I will never get past the Imperial authority of declining. I never get any further than that. Fading, crumbling. Yeah, I never get any of this. The lowest I'll ever go to is in the declining stance. And this is me playing a legendary campaign as Gelt, where I have abandoned the Empire. It's on my channel if you want to go check it out. There's a let's play of me doing a legendary achievement run where I have literally abandoned Solent right here. I don't own this anymore. Well, I do now technically, but I abandoned it at the beginning of the campaign and just started pushing into the mountains and pushing south. And I'm not in the Empire at all for the majority of the early game of the campaign. I eventually, spoiler alert, do get Solent back at some point. But I have like, I think it's like 7 or 8 Imperial authority at that time. And I've not done anything to do with the Empire. Ragland has taken everything out himself. And I'm still in a positive relations with the Imperial authority system. I really don't think it's as bad as people are making out to be. But I do think they should add on top of it. And I think it should be very similar, especially if you're playing Karl Franz. But again, I suppose any of the Elect account systems, maybe Karl Franz will have a discounted price at this, but there should be more ways to spend your prestige. And I think it's to order your Elect account to go and do some dirty work for you, basically, where you have to fight back against the enemy. So you could use the Imperial Authority system to give war coordination targets. Maybe the higher fealty they are, the cheaper this cost will be. Maybe you can trade settlements around so you can actually manipulate the borders, maybe. I think that would be quite good. So maybe, okay, Talabakland is about to die. I need Ostermark to give one of their settlements to Talabakland in exchange with a bit of money, and they will keep Talabakland alive. And you can try and manipulate the borders of the Elect accounts a little bit. I think there should be a lot more detailed mechanics in this, because at the moment it's just very passive. You're basically just waiting for everyone's fealty to build up. Maybe there might be a random enemy that's attacking one of the settlements, and then you just constantly just give back territory. But maybe you can actually help them. Maybe instead of selling settlements out, maybe I can order Ostermark to go get the settlement back for Talabakland. So I can order you to go and attack this settlement here from, let's say, Vlad has taken it. Order them to attack this settlement here. I can then command them to give it back to Talabakland, and I think it would just make the Empire so much more cleaner, and I actually feel like an emperor within the Empire instead of just another Elect account. Because at the moment, Franz is not telling anyone what to do. For an emperor commanding an empire, he's not really commanding very much. And I think giving a bit of power and a bit of persuasion to the other Elect accounts to go out and do the will of the Emperor, I think would be a much more thematic and interesting way to play it. So a little bit like the vassal system for the Warriors of Chaos. These are all now basically your vassals, and you have to tell them what to do. Simple as that. I don't think there needs to be any other changes than that. Just give them war coordination targets. Maybe you can start manipulating their trade with people. So, okay, I want you to go trade with each other, get rid of your resources. The Emperor needs to tell them what to do. Other than that, I think the Elect account system is absolutely fine. And finally, I want to talk about the College of Magic, and I think it should just be a carbon copy of the Ice Court mechanic. I think the Ice Court mechanic for Kislev works very well. It's a very good way to manipulate your magic users to get the traits that you want for your specific army. I think it's great, and I think it should be literally copied and given to the Empire with a vast range of magic. I do think this would be the perfect opportunity to add the Lord type for the Empire. So that's a Lord type for all of the laws of magic that they currently have. I do think that Gelt should definitely have access to this, as he is the college leader. He is in charge of the College of Magic. And I do think Elspeth and Karl Franz should also have access to this. Giving them access to the College of Magic will give them the stronger mages that they should have in their campaigns. I don't think that Marcus Wolfhart and Volkmar the Grim should have this. I think they are so far away from the Empire, they will not have access to the law, to the College of Magic. So I think they should recruit the Lords and Heroes. I do think they should have the Lords variant, but as a normal recruitment slot. And I do think that they should stick to having the Heroes in the way that they recruit them at the moment. Other than that, I think the Empire is great. I don't think it needs any changes. So that's kind of it for the Empire. I really don't think the Empire need much work done to them, especially in terms of a rework. I think everything runs fairly well. It's very simplistic, but that's what it should be. It's the beginner faction for new players. It's the Empire. It's the one that everyone goes and plays first. I don't think it should be too complicated. In terms of Elspeth, I think it will be really interesting and a very difficult campaign if you choose to do the dual start locations, but very, very fun and very manipulative on dealing with Tamacon. And then that just leaves us with the dwarfs. And I'm going to be honest, the dwarfs, I am extremely lost on. I don't think anyone really knows what the dwarf legendary laws are going to be, how they're going to work. It's going to take some really deep thinking to really come up with something for the dwarfs, but that will be my next video that I will be working on, my next major video that I'll be working on. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this this video today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave any comments down in the section below. Do you think that these are good ideas? What else would you like to see for the Empire side of the DLC? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.